Last video we did the front suspension, the Koni shocks, and lowering springs from UMI. Now we're going to do the same but to the rear, the Koni struts with the UMI lowering springs, and just look at that massive wheel gap. So that's what we're going to take care of today. Let's dive right in. So since we're going to basically be dropping the rear axle, I didn't want to put my jack stands on the rear axle, so they're up here on the pinch welds. That's why I got my jack up here as just a backup support. First thing we're going to do is take out the upper shock mount nut, and that is hidden just about over here. So to get to it, you need to remove the side panels here. I've already had this one off, and we have to undo these two Torx bits. That way we can peel back the carpet and get back here. So what I always like to do is loosen the Torx bits by hand before you break out the impact. See if I can do this one-handed. There we go. That one was already loose. Perfect. So to give me more room, I'm going to push back this seat so there's a tab right about here. Press forward. I've already done the same on the other side, and now we have all this room. So I'm going to throw this back there. We got these off. So this is kind of like clipped in, and you gotta go that way with it to break it off. Well, not break it, but just get it loose. And then the back side right here, this one is also, now you can see the clips here, so we have to lift up to free this one. There we go. Now to get more room, I'm going to undo these Torx bolts, one on each side. And this should now have some wiggle room, and I should be able to get the carpet up and under this. Now this foam piece here, if you peel it back, there's our shock nut. Now hopefully this impact will take it off and it doesn't just spin. Let's try. It did. And this side came off too, and so did this, what is this, isolator or something like that. I may not have the rear of the car up high enough, we'll find out, but I put a jack on the differential to kind of support it. That way once I undo these lower shock bolts, it doesn't just collapse, you know, spring out. We do have this big spring with a bunch of energy in it right now. So this is a 22 millimeter. I'll show you the nut right there. It's just spinning. So in between the nut and the shock, it's the metal retainer bushing, but that was just spinning. It's supposed to grab, but it was just spinning. So you can put a wrench on it. I have a crescent wrench on it, and we should be able to get it out now. There we go. Just like that. Now the shock falls out just like that. So there's the rear shocks. Let's get the springs out. Now these are under pressure, but the only thing supporting it right now is this jack. So let's loosen this, take that weight off of the springs, and that's as low as we go. I think we need to lift the body up more. Now this shock's not touching anything, so I'm taking my pry bar. I'm just gonna try to get it out of that top bucket. There we go. Now we can pull this out. Probably. There we go. And out we come. There we go. And here's our old versus new. And you can really see that height difference for these lowering springs. Alright, so let's, while I have it like this, let's just start throwing in this right spring. There's no reason to take it all the way down if I don't have to. It's just harder for me to do it at this moment. So let's throw in one of these springs and get going. Before I throw it in, I want to mention, you probably heard of the heater hose mod on these cars, the F bodies. Essentially, it's taking out the retaining bucket that I'm about to screw the spring into and just replacing it with some regular old heater hose on the first coil or so. And it lowers the car by about 1 inch or so, something like that. Now, I'm not doing that because V6 car. I'm not getting as much drop in the front as I would if this was a V8, because the V6 is not as heavy as the V8. The rear ends are basically the same weight on the cars. They use the same exact springs. So if I do the heater hose mod, I'm gonna drop lower in the rear than I am in the front. And I don't want to be like that. I'd rather be level, which is what I think I'm gonna get out of this. So let's go to the install. Now here's that retainer. Just like the front ones, you basically just put it in and you screw it until it stops. And it's supposed to hold it into place. You can also see that bushing up there for the shock. That's good. If yours stays up there, fine. You don't really need to take it down. So let's throw this up. All right, since these are lowering springs, it's gonna be pretty simple to get this in. Now, it may not stay up there on its own. We may have to install or push the diff up to hold it into place. Well, I'm working on these shocks here and realizing that this bolt is part of this bushing. So I can get this out by destroying that bushing, but I'm not going to be able to get it into here. Unfortunate. Now the other thing is the upper mount here. This is the nut for this one. Doesn't fit. Much beefier. So actually the nut that was for this bottom one is the same thread, right pitch, everything. So looks like I'll be using this nut up top. But I gotta go to the hardware store and I think I'm gonna get a bolt and a couple washers, like a grade 10 bolt, something like that, and then we'll pinch 2 washers together against the bottom of the axle there. And just got back from the hardware store and I have a solution here. I believe this will work. So what I did is took the nuts for up top, found the appropriate thread bolt. This is 3 inches long, and then the smooth part is about 1.5 inches. We have a lock or a jam nut right here, and then here is the lock nut to secure it into place. So this should be all good to go. Got 2 of them, let's throw it in the car. And one slight mistake, I need like another one of these jam nuts as a spacer, or maybe a couple washers and then the jam nut. So I need the end of the jam nut to be at 2 inches from the start, and we're slightly under it. We're about 1/4 inch short, but I think we're just gonna rock with it, and I can always change it later if need be. And I took the rubber isolator part off of that top of the underside of the body, and because our thread here is much bigger, we don't fit, so I have to oval out this, and I'm gonna use this little carbide bit right here. And just like that, now it slides on. Now I'm gonna thread this on, well, push it on. Just gonna spray a little WD-40 to act as some lube. Pointy end goes up, and it's a snug fit, but it will go on. There we go. As you can see, I got the lower shock bolts bolted in, they're tightened up. Really I just have to put the impact on this side and the wrench on this side, and the middle nut just kind of acts as a spacer. It's not going anywhere. The springs are locked into place. I basically raised the differential up to meet everything to the body of the car, and now it's sandwiched in its correct spot. and we should be good to lower this down to the ground. There it is on the ground, noticeably lower, but we're not quite done. I don't know why I thought the lower shock bolts or nut would work for the top on these Konis. They are not. They're not the same thread. And hopefully I didn't just damage this, but they just kind of get on there and do nothing. Those threads don't look that good, so hopefully I didn't damage that. But I need to figure out what thread that is and pick up two more nuts, and then we'll wrap this up. I found the nut I need. It is M12 by 1.25, and apparently Koni had a thing where the front shocks were M12 by 1.5 or 1.50, and the rears are always 1.25, 1.25. So anyways, these are 1.25, and as you can see, we're all good there. That was the old one, just for reference. That was a M10 by, I don't know, probably a 1.25, knowing GM. So now over here, I had to cut this up because, I don't know, it wasn't centered in the same spot, and I needed to make some room to get this bushing down there. So we got the room. Let's put the bushing cup. There we go. And now our nice new locking nylon nut. No clue what the torque spec is, but off the hex size, I'm gonna say it's around 35 foot-pounds, but this is the type where it's just spinning the shock on the inside. So we're gonna use an impact and just give it a couple ugga-duggas. That should be good. Now this is my small impact with my small battery, so likely we're just barely getting 30 foot-pounds, so it'll be all right. And just like that, the rear of the interior is all back together. Now we can take a nice look at it. That is noticeably lower. There's still a little gap. It's not slammed, it's not like inches from the ground or anything, but this just looks more like how it should have come from factory. I understand the V6 car is not coming like this, but the V8 car should have been like this. Much nicer. We were at 28 3/4, and now we're about 27 1/4 maybe. Let's check the other side. The driveway's a little angled, so this was at 28.5, and we're 26 3/4. So we lost about an inch in the rear. Now stock, our front here was 28 inches, and we're about 26.5. So about an inch in the back, inch and a half in the front. I think that is more like 1.25 inches. Not, this is all mental math, not exact, but noticeable drop. I think you could agree. And to end it off, just to see how bad these were, that takes some strength. And it's coming up, so they weren't blown, but they were super light. I'm not gonna be able to compress those ones, but we know how that handled, the body roll all over the place, especially under hard braking. It would go nose down and the rear would kind of hop at the axle, but much noticeable, very big improvement. It's stiff, doesn't bounce around like it used to, so I can't wait to drive it. So maybe we got to do that soon, but I still need to do some more tuning on the turbo, and we'll kind of get there as we get there. As you can see, it's getting cold, leaves are falling, all that. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.